Welcome to the Ask the Question project. At what age were you when you first thought about suicide?
I think I was about 13 or 14.
How did you find a way to cope and connect?
I came from a really religious family, and so they didn't really think that psychiatry was a legitimate thing. And so I did get counseling for a while, but it didn't feel like I was being taken seriously. And it was more of like, well, if you pray enough, then your symptoms should go away. And then my mom passed away right before I turned 16, and that's when things kind of got really bad. I started drinking really heavily. Then I had a psychotic event when I was 19, and that's actually what led me to get more professional help, like in a hospital setting. But I even then waited like 2 years after the psychotic event to go into the hospital because it was kind of how I was raised, you know? It wasn't like nobody was taking me seriously in my family. I don't know if they thought I was making it up or if maybe they just didn't understand.
What did people do that helped and what was not helpful?
What isn't helpful is when somebody says everything will be fine, you're gonna be okay, because it kind of feels like they're belittling my pain or whatever. It's more helpful when somebody listens to you and says, tell me more, and they're just trying to understand instead of dismissing. I know that being around other people that are suffering with depression was really helpful for me because it felt like I wasn't alone and I had this sort of like peer group that understood what I was going through. Yeah, just having somebody listen and say that, you know, that I know that that's really painful for you, and that's more helpful than anything really. When I've been in crisis situations before, what's really helpful is going into the hospital and it's like kind of like a safe, protected area.
Have you lost people close to you to suicide?
Yes. My really good friends that I actually met in one of those support groups for mental illness committed suicide. It's really tough, but it kind of opened my eyes to see the effects of suicide because I saw what happened to his family. It broke his entire family. And after that, it actually opened up this conversation between me and my sister that I never had had before, where I was telling her that I was suicidal. And she basically started crying, and she's like, you know, we lost mom. If we lose you, like, I can't even tell you, like, look what's going on with your friend's family. You can't do that to us, so you know you love us, so if you can't live for you, try to live through the pain for us.
For those who have attempted suicide, such as yourself, and survived, what would you say to others who struggle with suicidal thoughts?
Talk to your loved ones and family about it, even if that's like a taboo conversation, because I feel like that was the first real conversation where I felt like I was being heard. Because for a really long time, I just felt like I'm sick of everybody worrying about me all the time and stress out about how I'm doing or where I am. Wouldn't it just be better if they didn't have to worry about me anymore? But that's not really how it happens. And also, some people don't want to go into a hospital, or there is some sort of taboo associated with being in a mental hospital, but I think that it's the safest place that you can be when you're struggling like that, because you have people watching you and making sure that you're safe, and that crisis period does come to an end. It might not be for a year, it could be for a couple of weeks, but it will come to an end, and you'll be looking back and you're going, wow, I feel better now, and that was so bad, and I didn't think it was ever going to get better. I think that outlets such as writing and art, even if you're not good at art or not good at writing, just being able to feel like you can express or expel that energy and then look back, and it's sort of like an accomplishment maybe. Things can get infected when they're closed up, and that when you open them up and get air to it, that it can start the healing process.
This project is a collaboration between the storytellers and the artistic team, Mike Crenshaw and Julie Keith. Editing and accessibility by Cheryl Green. Funding for the project has been provided by Artworks, Clackamas County Cultural Coalition, and Oregon Humanities. Thank you to our partners, Clackamas County and The Living Room.